What's going on, everybody? It's Hunter and Jake here, and we are back. BoogiePod episode 53. And this time, I got it right on the title, I got it right on the thumbnail, and I said it right. That's a 3P. Got the bare minimum going today, Jake. The bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But Jake, we can't start BoogiePod without asking how your week's been.
Pretty good.
Pretty
School is
good?
done for a while, so it's very good, actually.
That's true. Speaking of school stuff, okay, I got my phone on. My bad. Speaking of school, I am going to upload clips. I know I've said it like the past 3 weeks. It's getting kind of like meme-ish a little bit. But school's out. So you know what that means? School's out, clips uploaded. That's what that means. If it's not this week, it will definitely be next because I still got some exams I got to do this week. But the plan's at least get 1 or 2 out this week. But we'll see what happens. We are starting the BoogiePod a little late, like a day late. So that might affect some things, but we'll see. But her last boogie poll. You hate to see it go, man. You hate to see the boogie poll go. But it's our last one, Jake. I'll let you kick it off. You got any honorable mentions?
Rap, I had one. I forgot it, though. No, I guess no.
Okay, me neither. I don't got any honorable mentions. So, go ahead. Start with your 12.
My 12 is Washington.
Okay.
I don't actually know what to say about them. I have nothing to say about Washington. Just number 12.
We won't have a lot to say about the teams because a lot of them didn't play this past week.
That's true. That's a good point.
At 12, I have Florida State. I had them, I think, like 11th or 12th.
They're my honorable mention.
Yeah, I think I had them like 11th or 12th last week. Didn't move them any because obviously they didn't play. But yeah, a lot of these teams that didn't play will be moved because of what the other teams did around them, and so maybe that'll have a little bit to do with talking about. But I still think Florida State's probably, I don't know, Clemson K. Klubnik might be the best team in the ACC, but I think Florida State's second now. So
maybe.
That's what I say. All right, go ahead, 11.
My 11 is Kansas State. They weren't in my boogie poll last week, but now they beat TCU. Got to move them up. I wanted to put them higher. I feel like I'm disrespecting them a little bit, but I really don't think they would beat any of the teams ahead of them, even though they just beat TCU, who's ahead of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of hypocritical, but you can't move TCU out of the top 4 regardless. I don't know. It's just a weird scenario. I don't want to disrespect Kansas State, but they definitely deserve to be up in the talks.
Yeah. I agree. I think I had them 11, where you have them now in my last big poll. So we were a little different there. So 11, I have Washington. You have them 12. I have them 11. I'm a little bit higher than you, mainly for the fact that this is a team that's been slept on a lot this year. All they've done is win. I think Penix Jr. is their quarterback, I think, there. And he came from Indiana, where he was terrible. And he's been really good with them. So good to see there. So go with 10.
Okay, my 10 is Tennessee. Moved them down a spot from last week because someone ended up having to pass them up because of a win. It's the same reasons as Joe Milton being this. If he does not prove to be a great starting quarterback against Clemson, then I will be proven right. But if he does look good, that means I've undershot him this whole time. I should have never moved him down because of injury. But for now, I got to move him down because of it.
Okay, at 10, I have Clemson. I think I had them like 12 in my last poll. Moving them up a little bit with the win over UNC. I'm not going to move them as much up as some other people because they did beat number 24 North Carolina, which should be expected out of a top 12 team. But yeah, this team has a change at quarterback and they look a lot promising. To be fair, I did see some people saying about K. Klubnik that they are going against North Carolina's defense. North Carolina's defense is terrible. So we'll see how he goes. Looking forward, he'll have a much prepared for Tennessee, which we just mentioned, and we'll see how he looks there. But right now,
I got Penn State 8. Now I had them like 7 last week, so I just had to move them down because someone. Oh, 9. You're right. Yeah, I have it 9 this week. I have it 8 last week. I had to move them down 1 just because someone passed them. Same reasons they were there before.
At 9, I also have Penn State. This is another one of those teams I'd put in like the same category of Washington, where they've been slept on all year, but all they've done is win. Feel bad for Penn State because if the Big Ten knew how to like structure a conference, Penn State would have probably been in the Big Ten championship, depending on what division they were in and all that other stuff. But yeah, feel bad for them, but they'll be at 9 for now.
Yeah. My 8 is Clemson. ACC title game win. I picked them against them, but they brought in old K. Klubnik finally, and he looked pretty dang good. So I think I'm moving them up a spot or 2 from last, or 3 from last week. They look good on all phases of the ball, so I move them up.
Yeah, something I didn't mention about Clemson is their secondaries took a big jump in the right direction, which is good to see because they're all really young too. So you would expect that group to be able to shine next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. At 8, I have Kansas State. I value the win over TCU pretty highly. I know it was a pretty close game. I already had Kansas State 11. You'd be a top 4 team. If I'm not going to move TCU down a lot, then I got to move Kansas State up a lot. So I'm moving them up.
Okay. My 7 is USC. Utah owns that conference. Utah's beaten them twice now, so gotta move them above them, I think. And but they're still a really good team. I think they have the Heisman, in my opinion, on the Heisman front runner in their team. They're still really good. They just can't beat Utah for some reason.
Yep. All right, at 7, I have Tennessee. Still have them pretty high. Again, their only losses coming to number 1 Georgia, and then supposedly the best team in the last 2 weeks, South Carolina. So not going to hurt them too bad there. I do have them at 7. I know a lot of people think they should be above Alabama. Deserving wise, they probably should, but I think with the injury, they're probably below Alabama. So I got them there. But yeah, 7.
Okay, my 6 is Utah. This is the reason I was kind of weird about Kansas State. I feel like I should have moved them a little higher because it's kind of hypocritical. But I think Utah is just a really good team who has an unfortunate few losses there. For some reason, they own USC. They're just a good team. It's kind of a shame they have 2 or 3 losses because I think they're better than that.
Yeah.
They definitely showed against USC this past weekend, so I'm at 6.
Okay, I'm going to make a quick change to my boogie poll. At 12, I had Florida State. I totally forgot about Utah winning the Pac-12. So I'm going to move Florida State to the honorable mentions. I'm going to slide Utah into 12. That's where I would have them. So 12, Utah. I'm not going to talk about them. Same reason Jake has them ranked. All right, so where are we at? We at 6. I got
6.
Alabama. I got Alabama at 6. A lot of people thought they should sneak in. You're crazy. You need to watch college football if you think that. And besides that, pretty similar reasons to Tennessee, except they're just ahead of Tennessee just because of the non-injured quarterback.
Yeah, my 5 is Alabama. I have them 5, but I feel like they're really overrated. People still act like they're a playoff caliber team. If you watch them, they're not. But they are still really good, and they get to test out their skills against Kansas State in a bowl game. And I think who was it talking a little smack? Was it Nick Saban talking a little bit? It's gonna be good now. I think Kansas State's very upset worthy over Alabama, so we'll see how that goes.
Especially with the opt-outs, Kansas State ain't gonna have nobody opt out.
Probably not. No.
So that's cool. I hope Kansas State gets them. That'd be funny. At 5, I have USC. Move them down just a little bit. I think that they're probably not deserving to be in the top 4 with a loss and now having 2 losses. But it is what it is. I'd still have them above Alabama and Tennessee.
My 4 is TCU. When we get to my top 4 from my version of the Boogie Poll, it kind of goes to deserving a little bit because, TCU is a playoff team this year. Yep. They only have 1 loss now. But I would have them below Ohio State is my difference than the committee. Because I think Ohio State's probably better than TCU. Probably. But TCU has that dog in them, I guess. Their quarterback had a great game. It's a shame they lost that game because that's like the best game he'll ever play. At least running. He has heart, has everything you need, but they still couldn't get it done against Kansas State.
He's your classic college quarterback.
Yeah, he is. But they're still a top 4 team.
Yeah. All right. At 4, I also have TCU. The committee put them in at 3. You both got them at 4. I do have Ohio State jumping them a little bit. I think if you lose, you do have to drop at least one spot. At least one spot. And the only reason you would never be able to drop a spot, in my opinion, if you lose, is if the team above someone ranked really higher than you beat you. That'd be the only way. But I don't understand. I let the committee to explain how a 13 or whatever they were ranked 10th, 11th, something like that, Kansas State beats you and you don't drop it all. That's a little weird. I get the whole reason they did it is because the people below them didn't play at all, but you still lost. So I move them down 1. That's why they're at 4.
Yeah, my 3 is Ohio State. The loss to Michigan was bad. It was really bad losing that much at home. It kind of imploded a little bit, but we said it all before, so they're still a good team, though, with all that said.
Yep. At 3, I have Ohio State, and, we'll do our playoff predictions as we get later on in the year, but I think a lot of people are going to be regretting what they said about Ryan Day, which we talked about in our last podcast. So we won't get into there, but 3, I have Ohio State.
My 2 is Michigan. Same reasons as before. It's pretty much the same top 2. They deserve it.
Yep.
They handled Purdue kind of close there, sneaky close for like maybe the first quarter or two.
Yep.
But then they bully balled them and pulled away. So.
Yep. 2. I got Michigan, dangerous team. The only thing that scares me about Michigan, I think they're very similar to how they were last year. I think Georgia is also pretty similar to how they were last year. I think it's a really bad matchup for Michigan, unless they show me something a little different. But Michigan 2.
Yeah, my one obviously Georgia. For real life, like the real committee rankings, I like the Ohio State Georgia game for an upset.
Yeah.
Possible. I don't know if I'll take them, but it's very enticing. It's
It
a
is
good.
enticing.
I can't wait for that game. I've always wanted to see those two teams play because they haven't played in playoff era, I don't believe yet somehow.
No.
But they are now, so
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's gonna be. I like both matches. Michigan versus TCU is a great matchup.
Yeah.
Ohio State versus Georgia is a great matchup. I can't wait. I'm excited to see both of them. And I also got Georgia 1. Look like the best team in the country so far. That's why they're 1. All right, Deion Sanders took the job to Colorado. Jake, first of all, what do you think about the hire? And then second of all, what do you think? What do you think's the ceiling with Deion Sanders in Colorado?
I thought it was a good hire, best on all the other options. Plus, if you're Colorado, you're like 1-11. Just take a Hail Mary shot and go get Deion. That's what I would have done. Same thing. There's no point in hiring some like mediocre guy from another school.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna get some NIL money. Deion's got some hype. He's good at recruiting. Players seem to like him. I think it was a really good hire, personally. And their ceiling is probably a slightly above 500. I think they'll be better, but they're still going to take some time. I wouldn't expect a full turnaround in 1 year. If Deion does that, he's like SEC bound coach one day. If he could turn around a whole program in 1 year.
Yeah.
But I think their ceiling is probably a little above 500. Will they hit that? Probably not. But I think they'll be much better and more like a less dysfunctional, hopefully, than last year.
Yeah. All right. I think it was a great hire. Out of all the coaches in the coaching carousel, he was my top pick. And I think Auburn and Luke Fickell had probably been up there if I even knew he was an option. To be fair, Wisconsin probably took him. So I'd have Deion Sanders too. But here's the thing. We talk about the ceiling for Colorado next year. And you mentioned, it'd be insane if he was able to turn that team around in 1 year and make them do something pretty important in Colorado football history. But here's the reason why I think they can. And college football is very set up to where you have the transfer portal, you have recruits, you have NIL deals now, to where, one, Deion Sanders' name is going to help out just a bunch in general. But two, he's going to have the recruits and the transfers to be able to turn that thing around in one spin. And you're playing in a conference that's the Pac-12 that's not going to be so talented. And I think this team's ceiling next year is 8-4, somewhere around there, like a very notable bowl game. And if they get lucky, I don't know what the Pac-12 will look like next year. We're a long ways away from there. But if the Pac-12 don't look good next year, they could sneak their way into a Pac-12 championship somewhere in that 2 seed or something. So I like this hire for Colorado. And like you said, they got nothing to lose. So you might as well go get Deion Sanders. If you're Auburn, you're punching the air right now. That's all I'm saying. Luke Fickell and Deion Sanders, I think, are much better options than what you got. Something else that just got announced very recently is JT Daniels is transferring to his 4th school. They don't know what it is yet. He just hit the transfer portal. He had a pretty decent year at West Virginia for his standards. Former 5-star recruit. Where do you think JT Daniels fits? I'm very shocked he's even transferring, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought you could only transfer once. And I didn't understand. I don't even understand how it works. I thought you couldn't transfer often like that.
I think you can now. I think it's a new rule.
Yeah, I could see why he's doing it, but I don't know where he's going to fit in at all. I mean, if you're not fitting in at West Virginia, I don't think you're going to fit in many other good schools. I couldn't even begin to tell you where he's going to go. Personally, I don't know. Maybe some Pac-12 school, possibly. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Here's what puzzles me about JT Daniels a lot, because he had a pretty good year at West Virginia, I'd like to say. I think he's one of the better players on his team. And if that's the case and he's leaving West Virginia, maybe this ain't for what you think it is. When I sit here and thought about it for a little bit, maybe JT Daniels isn't leaving to go to a lesser school for him to look better, kind of. Maybe he's leaving to go upper school. Maybe in Oklahoma. I think Darren Gabriel's leaving. I don't know.
Is he really? Wow.
I think so. I think he's in his 5th year or something like that. If he's not, then scratch Oklahoma. But like Oklahoma State, maybe. I know their quarterback's gone. There's a couple schools here option. I don't know if the dude from UCLA is gone. If he is, maybe he goes. JT Daniels goes to UCLA. Okay, so you got some options there for JT Daniels though. Maybe he's moving up. Not so much to say he's moving down. If he is moving down though, I'd say it's probably somewhere out of the old Power 5 would be my guess if he's moving down. But
yeah,
moving up. Good spot for JT Daniels if he was leaving would be Cincinnati.
It would be.
Be a good fit for him. But yeah. So all right, the Heisman finalists also got named, and that is Bennett, Williams, Duggan, and Stroud. Those 4, Jake. If you were given the award right now, who would you give it to?
I'd give it to Caleb Williams. Okay. I do believe he's the best player in college football, and the best. It's kind of a quarterback award this year, sadly, which is how it usually is. I mean, they should have thrown one running back in there, probably over Stetson. He's on the best team, though. That's probably why he's there. He's on the best team. But, Caleb Williams, I think he's the best player. And their team is good enough to where they were in playoff consideration. So they're not the best, but they're still really solid. I would hand the award to him.
All right, if I was giving the award right now, it's the best team on the best it's the best player on the best team. You look at it can't be no one on Georgia. Sorry, Stetson Bennett fans. Can't be Stetson Bennett. His stats don't even hold up enough. So can't be somebody on Georgia. It can't be somebody on Michigan. It can't be Blake Corum. Looked at the stats. It can't be. He can be in the finalists, but he can't win it. Then you look at TCU. I think my option's Max Duggan. If I had to rate him, I agree with you. Caleb Williams, he's probably the best player in college football, but that's not what this award's about. I'm going to give it, I would have Max Duggan 1. I'd have CJ Stroud 2. I'd have Caleb Williams 3. And I'd have Stetson Bennett 5th or 6th. And then I wouldn't even I'd put blank spots before I put Stetson Bennett. But so I would give the award to Max Duggan right now. So I'd give it to. And I will say this though. If the reward's not given after the playoffs, is it? It's before.
I think it's before.
Yeah. If it was after the playoffs though, you'd be giving it to CJ Stroud. Both of us would. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Sneak peek.
Yeah, a little sneak peek.
Alright, we'll see.
Alright, so let's move on. Let's go into our NFL power rankings. We do the Power 5. And Jake, me and you have both talked about before leading up to this that we have been going back and forth, maybe a little surprising picks. I got some hot takes. You got a little shake up. So let's start off. You got any honorable mentions?
The Niners are definitely mine. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to see how the quarterback situation really shakes out. Because if it was a stable one, they'd be in my top 5 today. But right now, not trusting Brock Purdy yet. Who'd have thought you'd see his name? So not him yet.
She's at blow goat.
Yeah.
All right. Honorable mention. I have the Bengals. Got the Bengals in the honorable mentions.
You moved them out?
I moved them down. I moved them down. And I knew you were gonna be thinking, how does that make any sense?
Gosh.
But it does. I'll explain myself. when we get to the
Okay,
Chiefs.
We'll see.
All right. Go ahead with your number 5.
So mine shook up a little bit, but I didn't do anything out of pocket like that. My 5 is the Chiefs. I had them 1 or 2, but the gap between all 5 of these teams is not very high at all. So it's kind of you can switch them around a little bit, but they're still good. I do agree with you about the receiver play. I agreed in general, but now you can really see it sometimes. You got Kelsey, but I don't know. Juju's good. We'll see. Mahomes is getting held back a little bit. I wish he had the same wide receiver core as Joe Burrow, because then it would be setting records. But the team is injured a little bit on defense as well. So, no excuses. They're still a good team.
Yeah. Speaking of the receiver play, because at 5 I also have the Chiefs. I looked at Juju's fantasy points average because I play someone with Juju. I don't know his stats, so I'm not going to speak on his stats. But take this for what you want. He's averaging 11 points in fantasy this year. So he hasn't been the best, regardless of how you value fantasy points. But still, just in general, you can't be averaging 11 points and be good in real life. Second thing is, defend myself when I have the Chiefs 5th and the Bengals in the honorable mention. When I think I had the Bengals in front of them.
You did.
Last podcast. Here's why. That game was very close.
It was.
And it was at Bengals. That tells me if it was neutral ground or at Chiefs, especially at Chiefs, Chiefs win. and I gotta take this for neutral ground games. So I got.
What they
choose
said
5.
last year.
So I got
That's what
Chiefs
they said
5.
last year.
It might have been, but that's what that tells me. So I got Chiefs 5. Go ahead. Your
Okay, that's fair. My 4 right now is the Bengals. They made their entrance into the top 5, maybe for the first or second time this year. They've been out for a while. Big win against the Chiefs, which they're 3-0 against Mahomes now. That's the only team that's ever done that to Mahomes.
Wow.
So that's a big thing. You don't want Joe Burrow having to own Patrick Mahomes. It's going to make his Super Bowl chances way harder the next 10 years because
Yeah,
they're both
that's
going to be in the
true.
playoffs a lot. But right now, I have them 4. Right
All right. At 4, I have the 49ers. I think talent, like roster for roster, 49ers have one of the best rosters in the game. The only thing that scares me about the 49ers is it's very weird when you look at Brock Purdy and Jimmy G's success, but the receiver play is not really there for them. Brandon Ayuk's pretty good. Debo's been a letdown this year for the most
Big
part.
letdown this year. He got paid and disappeared.
Yeah, and it's been concerning, I guess, is the best way to put it. It's very interesting how they're still able to function, though. They must spread the ball out a lot, and that would be the only way I'd be able to say that. But 49ers 4 roster, especially that defense, probably maybe besides the Cowboys, best defense.
Yeah, they are. I would say they're the best. One thing about the Niners too, which I left off there, honorable mention. See, last year with Debo, he was like a wide receiver and running back.
Mm-hmm.
He'd run the ball a lot, and he was really good at it. But this year, he said he didn't really want to do that no more. And his stats have went down considerably.
Yeah.
Probably because they have McCaffrey. You don't need to run the ball with Debo if you have McCaffrey. But I wonder if he's not getting as open as he was last year for maybe some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not watching many 49ers games to see, but it is weird to see a guy like that just regress so quickly. But regardless, my number 3 is the Bills this week. I usually have them pretty high. Played the Patriots. They didn't really impress me against the Patriots, but I think it was at Patriots, and the Patriots kind of have owned them for the past 20 years. So it's still hard to get wins there. They lost to them last year, I think.
Yeah.
So it's Bills still 3.
Okay. At 3, I have the Eagles. They just got a blown out win against the Titans. I don't value the Titans very much. They're in the South, and everyone in the South sucks. Thought my Jaguars were good, but they're even worse now. They're terrible. Can't get beat by the Lions, and then Titans get blown out by the Eagles. Me and Jake, we're going to the Titans and Jaguars game this week. Jake, we should have done a on campus or not on campus, I guess, but like at their stadium BoogiePod. Have been funny. But yeah, Titans. That I don't value the win as much. I guess it was a blown out win, and I think I had the Eagles even lower, so I think I'll move them up with the win. So Eagles 3. But what I do with my Power 5 is I scratch it every year or every week. So
Okay.
I start new every week. I got Eagles 3.
All right. My 2 is Dallas Cowboys. I think this is the highest I've had them all year, maybe. The main reason I moved them up is that win over the Bengals early in the year is aging better and better by the week. Yep. You beat them with your backup quarterback. That's pretty good. Which is, I think, one of the reasons that the Bengals are going to struggle if they get to the Super Bowl is because you're probably going to face a team with a good pass rush. There's not many as good pass rushes in the AFC as there are in the NFC this year. But the Chiefs don't have a good one. That's one reason they're successful against the Chiefs because they can't sack Joe Burrow as much as they'd want. But Dallas got the crazy blowout win over the Colts. Kind of a sneaky close game. But then they pulled away with a bunch of turnovers. So I'll keep them at 2.
All right. At 2, I have the Bills. I've had them at 1 the past 3 weeks. And I have now dropped them to 2. I don't know why you're smiling. You got them 3?
No, it's not about the Bills.
I know it's not. At 2, I got the Bills. I've had them at 1 the past couple weeks. But kind of like in the Patriots game, I know they handled that game pretty well. I'm starting to see more holes with the Bills. And it's kind of... exclude the running game. If we're looking at holes outside the running game, which people didn't think there would be, Josh Allen has been not a hole. He's far from a hole. But he has not been nowhere near as good as I thought he would be this year. And I think once playoff time rolls around, this will be fixed. And I will have them back at 1. But as of right now, if there's a neutral ground game, there's one team I'd pick over them. We'll get there in a minute.
Stupid. The thing about the Bills, too, real fast, I didn't mention it, is if you take the quarterback out of the picture and you just look at their skill positions
Yeah.
besides quarterback, wide receiver, running back, all they had, and tight end. We'll count tight end just for this.
Yeah.
They only have one guy.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
They have nobody else.
100%.
So it's like, I mean, Josh Allen kind of puts the team on his back. Him and Stephon Diggs both put the team on their back.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was their leading rusher coming into this past game. I don't know what it is now. He probably still is.
Yeah.
Which is sad. That's sad. They cannot run the ball.
Yep.
Your quarterback should never be your top rusher. And your best wide receiver is Stephon Diggs. After that, you got Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty overrated. He's fine. But that playoff game he had against the Chiefs last year made everyone think he was like the next guy, which he's obviously not.
No.
But that's, yeah. So I don't know. I worry about him a little bit playoff time just to beat the Bengals and the Chiefs. They're probably going to go against. But regardless, my number one, have the Eagles. I don't know if I've had them one all year. I might have had them one once. The win over the Titans impressed me a little bit. The Titans they played the Chiefs well at Chiefs. I know the Titans aren't that great, but that win was nice. The A.J. Brown's I think he's more important to that team than anybody, in my opinion. Watching him play, he's great. That's why the Titans fired their GM today. It's because he let A.J. Brown go. He's like one of the best wide receivers in the game. That is completely ridiculous. And now Dallas has to deal with him for the next years. So, his fault. I'm glad he's fired.
All right. At number one, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Got it one. It's the first time I haven't won all year. Shake your head. I know you're a Cowboys fan. I would take the Cowboys right now on neutral ground over anyone in the league. When you look at this team, when they had Cooper Rush, everyone was saying their strong point was their defense. And it is. But now they have an offense that matches that defense. Their offense has been high-powered. They've scored a lot of points throughout the week. And this team's point differential is through the roof. They lead the league in point differential right now. This team, they stop you on defense, and they score on offense. They literally play football to a T. They play it the best right now of anyone in the league. Right now, currently as we speak. Next week could be different. Right now as we speak, that's the best team in the league. Dallas Cowboys. All right, let's go on to our pick'ems. I am 17-10. You are 18-9. Gotta catch you. We missed Monday Night Football, which we usually do because that was yesterday. So we're only going Thursday night and Sunday night. So Thursday night is the Raiders at the Rams, which is actually a little bit more better matchup now, considering Baker Mayfield's on the Rams.
Yeah. I'm still going to go Raiders. I think Josh Jacobs, if he's healthy, will have another big game. Devontae Adams is still playing like under the radar, like one of the best receivers. It's just he's playing on a really terrible team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go with the Raiders. I think they'll get it done.
All right. I also am going to take the Raiders on the road. Close, though. I think it'll be close, but I'll go Raiders. Next game is Sunday Night Football, and that's going to be the Patriots at the Cardinals.
It's a good game. Good game. I'm going to go Cardinals. I really don't want to. I think the Cardinals are really bad. But I think this is I view this as a little bit of an upset. I think the Patriots should win that game, even though it's at Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go Cardinals. I think Kyler could do enough, even though he's not been very good this year. I think he could do enough.
All right. I'm going to go Patriots on the road. Very rarely do you see me taking two road teams. I'm a big home guy. But I'm going with the Pats here, mainly because of I think Bill Belichick will be able to come up with a good game plan to stop the Cardinals. The only thing concerning to me is the Patriots' lack on offense is terrible. They suck on offense. But going against the Cardinals' defense, that makes me feel a little better about myself. So I'll go Patriots. All right. Speaking of, we've already mentioned this a little bit. Baker Mayfield just got waiver claimed today, I think, to the Rams. What do you think about this? You think I think we talked about it on the podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago that it was Baker Mayfield's last chance. And here he is. He has a brand new chance. He's starting quarterback chance at the Rams. So Baker Mayfield keeps finding ways to get in games. But so my first question to you is this Baker Mayfield's actual last chance this time? And 2, how does he perform?
I bet you it's not, because I think he's going to bounce around teams that just need a guy.
Yeah.
He'll start games, but he'll be like a weird version of Colt McCoy, where it's that's Baker Mayfield starting today. The quarterback must be hurt. Okay. I think he'll be like that. He'll start, but his last chance to be a guy is over. But it's not his last chance to start some games. And he's not going to play this Thursday, I bet you. He don't have time to learn that offense. He just got there today, and it's Tuesday. I'd be really surprised if he plays Thursday.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he won't play. Yeah, but when he does play, mid. I say it'll just be mid because they're a really bad team. They're going to be bad. I think they're going to be bad until like the near 2030s, early 2030s. I think they'll be bad for a long time, unless they get really lucky.
Yeah,
with draft picks, but they're going to be a bad team.
I think Baker Mayfield might be sneaky good here. And I'll tell you why. Not like good in like the sense of he's gonna be like the next guy for him or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think he'll like someone be like, he played pretty good today. That's about it. That's all I'm looking at him. Just he played good today. And the reason why I say that is Baker Mayfield's gonna have 0 offensive line. And I feel like that's the way Baker Mayfield likes to play. Not protected. He likes scrambling. He likes making his own plays and doing dumb things. And I think it'll favor into Baker Mayfield a little bit here, and I'm excited to see how he does. He has a decent wide receiver core there. I mean, Kupp, and also good chance for Kupp here. Let's see how good Cooper Kupp is without Matthew Stafford loving him. And
he's been hurt, I believe, too.
Okay,
so
well, there you go. And Allen Robinson should get a chance to perform here with Baker Mayfield.
He's hurt, too, I'm pretty sure. I think he's out for the year.
Oh, well, never mind then. Well, I forget. Baker Mayfield.
He's got Van Jefferson, I believe.
I don't care. Van Jefferson sucks, so I'll take it back. Baker Mayfield's going to be bad. Forget everything I just said. All right, let's move on. There has been talks about Odell Beckham Jr. and his injury being worse than what people says, and there's been another report that came out very recently about it, like practically saying the same thing, but kind of reassuring a little bit more that it might be even more true. If OBJ is hurt, Jake, still, or he's still a little banged up, or he's not going to be 100%, let's say that, is Odell Beckham Jr. still worth the pickup?
I would say yes. I saw someone talking about today. The ideal thing you could do with Odell is get him a contract where he's paid very minimal money this year because he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Just minimal money because if his family is near Dallas, that's the main advantage they have. If he really wants to be around family, you pay him that, and then part of the contract is that team doctors have to oversee his rehab workouts and all the stuff he's got to do, the treatments.
Yeah.
To get him better and get him ready, because they said mid-January. I doubt he plays any in the playoffs this season if he does get signed by anybody, which he will.
Yeah.
You get him on that, then you start paying the real money next year. That's a good deal. If he really wants to be in Dallas, that's what else can you ask for? I think that's what you could get. I would say it's a good investment type of pickup. I think he'll still be good. I think he's got some football left, but you're not don't expect like prime Odell or nothing. But I think he's still got some plays left in him.
Yeah, I still think he's worth it. Just you gotta be a little bit more careful of how much money you give him in the contract.
Yeah,
you gotta be smart about it. If a team's willing to overpay for him, let them overpay for him. There's no reason for you to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I agree with you. He's probably still worth it. Let's move on. College basketball pick'ems. We've done this for 2 weeks now. I am 8-3. You're 6-5. We both had good weeks last week. But let's start off with Saturday. We got number 8 Alabama at number 1 Houston.
Ooh, I'm going to Houston. I didn't realize they're number 1. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm also.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also rolling with the Cougars of Houston, number 1. All right, staying on Saturday, number 10 Arizona at number 14 Indiana.
We go Indiana. They just got the win over the North Carolina Tar Heels, I believe. I'm going to have to go Indiana.
All right, I'm also rolling with Indiana. I think they will get that one done as well, they're being at home. And then let's move on. Our last one, I think this game's on Saturday, maybe? I don't know for a fact. But it's number 13 Maryland at number 7 Tennessee.
Oh, that's a good game. I'll go Tennessee.
All right, yeah, I'm also.
I think they could ride the wave of the Kansas win, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm also rolling with the Vols here, being at home and stuff. Good team there with Tennessee. Okay, so big fight card this weekend for the UFC. We got pay-per-view UFC 282. Again, we've talked about this. This card isn't very top-heavy, but it is very bottom-heavy. This card's loaded at the bottom and starts to even out more when it gets to the top. But we're going to start off with the main event here where there are early predictions, and that's Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev.
I'm going to go right now with some of my final picks because I'm not made them for the card on Saturday, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're going Magomed Ankalaev. I think he kind of wins by default here. I think he's a little bit better everywhere. He might not have as much pop in his punches possibly, but I think he's just a better fighter. And Blachowicz is a little older now. I think he's going to win by decision. I think it's going to be a 5-rounder. I think it's going to be a snooze fest. A little bit of a snooze fest because Magomed Ankalaev has a few of those already. Mm-hmm. But I think he'll get the job done.
All right, I'm also going with Ankalaev. I think he'll win by decision. Like you said, I think options will win fights here for Ankalaev. He could do it multiple ways. Blachowicz one way, just by knockout. So unless Blachowicz hits that Polish power, I think Ankalaev takes care of business and becomes a new light heavyweight champion. Co-main event is Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. I think is it Jared Gordon or is it
it's
something else?
Gordon.
Okay. We could see Paddy the Baddie fight again. Jake, what's your early predictions for this fight?
I don't know. Is Jared Gordon like a wrestler? What is he? I'm not looking much.
He's 19-5. I know that much. And besides that, I don't really know.
I'll go Paddy by submission. I think he does another submission. He's actually really good at it.
Yeah.
If it has to stay standing, he will lose though. The first fighter that he fights that makes him stand up, he's gonna lose. But I think he'll get on the ground this fight probably and get the dub.
All right, I'm also going to pay the Baddie by submission in round 1. I think he takes care of business, crowd in his favor, and whenever he has to fight a real guy, he'll get stomped most likely. Hate to see it, but that is what it is. All right, if any of you guys right now have any sports questions you want to ask me and Jake, go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll answer them. But Jake, what is your question of the week?
I always forget. Dang.
Yeah,
I always make a note.
Think about it.
One thing I could talk about though, I just saw it pop up. Mitch Haniger, the baseball. He is going to the Giants on a 3-year deal, $42 million. Yeah,
Boston need him so bad.
Yeah, he's off the board. I was gonna say something else. It was a good point. Earlier today, that's not a question. This is a talking point too. Aaron Judge. Someone said like John Heyman, one of the better, more reliable reporter guys for MLB Network, said going to the Giants.
Wow.
Aaron Judge to the Giants, but then he was wrong. Aaron Judge is still not went anywhere. The Giants said they never heard anything like that, and the Yankees said they heard they were still in. And now with the Giants getting Mitch Haniger, I wonder, that's an outfielder.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're still going after Aaron Judge.
I don't know.
Maybe they're out. I know they offered him a lot of money, $360 million.
Yeah.
But I guess my question for you would be if the Boston Red Sox manager, Heimblum,
Yep, Heimblum,
does not get anybody substantial, what do you think the organization should do?
You let this season play out, and because Heimblum has a great history of getting players that you wouldn't think would fit and be good, and then they end up being really good. That's kind of his history thing, what he's good at. That's why he was good with the Rays, and he showed kind of signs at that. No one thought Kyle Schwarber would be as good as he was with Boston, as he was when he was there, and a couple other pieces there. So, we'll see. I think whatever he does this offseason, regardless if it's big moves or little moves or no moves or a lot of moves or whatever it is, I think you let the season play out, and if we're not at least in the wild card, at least in the playoff spot, then I think whoever's head you want to take off, you look at Heimblum first, I would say. Unless he does go and make big moves and they just don't perform well, then that's a little different story. But if he makes small moves, like he has already started to do with the relief pitcher, then you wait to see how they perform. Give him a chance one more season. And if he can't do it, then it's probably off with his head, I'd say. Because Boston's really quick to get rid of people like him. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But no fan questions. So that'll probably do it. And think you got anything else to say? And I'll do it. BoogiePod again. Clips, maybe. Definitely next week. So just remember that. Okay, clips are coming. Promise.